Hi everybody, I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where I'm getting distracted by trying to upload files and films for today's show. I was able to track down the missing parts of two films that we showed, one yesterday and one the day before. So we'll watch those a little bit later in the show. But in the meantime, this is a weird film. So I have other films about the Canadian Royal Mounted Police, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, but this one is interesting because it kind of talks about like what it's like to train to be a Mountie. It's an odd thing. It's not like other Encyclopedia Britannica films. It's almost like it's a short subject made for the general public about how tough it is to be a Mountie. But yeah, here we go. This is an interesting film in my mind. Enjoy.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the RCMP, the Mounties. 5,400 men who maintain the law superbly well in Canada. A police force that has gained the admiration and respect of the world. Though many of the stories of the brave and fearless Mountie are just stories, he's still a special kind of man, an exceptional kind of policeman. A symbol to all the world of justice and principle, courage and courtesy. What makes a Mountie? The process begins with the kind of men selected. Mike Blanchard wants to be a Mountie. Why? Because he wants to serve Canada. No other motive for joining is acceptable to the force. He's passed a tough series of intelligence, character, and medical tests. Now this interview will decide if he has the ambition, spirit, and maturity to be a Mountie. The force is easy to get out of, but hard to get into. Accepted as a recruit, Mike Blanchard arrives at a training center to begin one of the world's most difficult training courses. 9 months under strict military discipline. The first few days are spent in getting used to the place and in collecting your kit. A blue forage cap for patrol, a brown Stetson for summer wear, riding boots, spurs, slacks and tunic of RCMP brown. There's something about the uniform that gives you a feeling of pride already. But you're scared too, because you know it won't be easy. Any lack of effort, nerve, or coordination will wash you out. In the barracks, you've been assigned a bed, met some of the other men, and begun the never-ending polishing and shining. You're brought to attention, told to say, sir, told to stand up straight, 1,000 times a day. In class, you begin work on some 85 different subjects. Care and handling of prisoners, criminal code, regulations and history of the force, typing, current affairs, public relations. If a policeman is to teach others to obey the law, then he himself must obey it best of all, must set the example. This principle is ground into you every hour of every day. You're marched from class, to barracks, to gym, to stables, to mess, to drill field. You're told drill helps achieve that proud military bearing a Mountie must have. You're shouted at until you're dazed. No matter what you do, the drill sergeant is never happy. You march until you're ready to collapse. Then it's time for a little warm-up in the gym, just enough to get you in shape for a class in police holds and judo. Horses are a part of the RCMP tradition, but now they're used only for training and occasional exhibition rides in different parts of Canada and in the United States. You're taught to saddle a horse properly, and you see that the sergeant's sympathies, if he has any, are always with the horse. 3 times a day you groom your mount. There's a saying that a man who grooms his horse properly needs no other exercise. You're taught to mount and to ride the RCMP way. The force believes that the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man. If a recruit lacks confidence, courage, or fortitude, 4 hours a day on a horse will bring it out. After a few weeks, you're ready for Suicide Lane. Thundering down the strip, arms folded, holding on only with your knees. Forget about being hurt, screams the sergeant. A good man enjoys the rough and tumble. Nine months of building coordination of mind and muscle, sharpening the intellect, building courage and stamina. And this is just the beginning. There'll be more training during the first few years on active duty. When there's time to think, you wonder if it's all worth it. A salary of $3,000 to $4,000 a year, signed up for 5 years, can't marry without permission, all kinds of can't do's and must do's. At last you don the red serge, the dress uniform for the first time, and graduate. You know now that it was all very much worthwhile. You're a Mountie, ready for your first job. It can be anywhere in Canada. A village in Nova Scotia jutting out into the North Atlantic seems a long way from home. Here it is, your new headquarters. Under the guidance of a more experienced man, your training continues. At first, the work will be routine. Telephone and radio operator, handling minor complaints. There'll be thefts, accidents, drunkenness to handle, taxes to collect, permits to issue. Visits to schools, helping to teach the children to be good citizens. There are the long highway patrols and a sudden radio message to search all cars crossing Havens Ferry. A convict has escaped. Shooting without a license or out of season is against the law. Mounties enforce the game laws in Canada. A big part of the job on rural detachment duty is just being there, ready to help when you're needed, and discouraging crime by your very presence. The hours are long and the work often dull, but the life has many rewards. You're respected as a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. In the far north, in the Arctic, where the sparse population is separated by thousands of miles of wilderness, the RCMP is the sole police force. Dog sled is often the only way to travel, and patrols sometimes last many weeks at temperatures 40 or 50 below zero. The Mountie must provide his own shelter, shoot his own food, and survive against the elements. Work among the Eskimos is largely an attempt to help with their problems, since little crime exists among Eskimos. The policeman is sometimes doctor, giving medicines and advising on health and family problems. He's the census taker. And to the Eskimo, friend, protector, and link with the outside world. The RCMP patrols the coasts of Canada and inland waters, enforcing federal laws, operating a variety of ships, seagoing Mounties, search and rescue operations are an important part of the work. A fishing boat has floundered in a storm off Newfoundland. What's left of its crew is adrift in a dory. A man has been injured on the lonely Labrador coast and must be removed to a hospital. There are no roads, trains, or places for a plane to land. He can be taken out only by sea. Another routine job for Marine Division. Mounties in plain clothes enforce the federal drug and narcotic laws. The dope peddler casually lights a cigarette and throws the empty box away. But it's not empty. It contains a few grains of a drug which the dope addict wants desperately. The stuff, as it is called, is wrapped in rubber so that it can be carried in the mouth, ready to swallow instantly should the addict be picked up by the police. In order to be arrested and convicted, he must be found in actual possession of the stuff. At the RCMP dog section, German Shepherds are trained for police work. A regular member of the force who has volunteered as a dog master selects his dog. For the next 8 or 10 years, they will live and work together as a team. The dogs are trained to track and to attack. The right arm, which could be holding a gun. They're trained to find missing persons and lost objects, and are highly valued members of the RCMP. It's a foggy morning along the border between Ontario and New York State, where not even a fence separates Canada and the United States. A good morning for smuggling. Hundreds of country roads and paths crisscross the border. and a clever smuggler has a good chance of eluding the police. But the RCMP is ready for this one. Plainclothesmen are stationed at crossroads, waiting, ready to let the patrol cars know which road. The signal is passed. Truck headed north on St. Marie Road, 817. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, as a federal police force, has become the most versatile law enforcement body in existence. Its duties combine those of T-men, Coast Guard, FBI, State Police, City Police, Intelligence Service, and Scotland Yard, all rolled up in one. What is it that makes the RCMP the superb police force that it is? A model to all the world of what a law enforcement body can be. Certainly training and tradition, discipline, and devotion to duty. But perhaps more than this, the conviction of every Mountie that the quality of law enforcement depends upon the example, the behavior, the quality of each and every man who wears the scarlet and blue Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
It just feels weird. Is it just me, or was that film just odd in how it was, kind of this guy wants to enlist, and we're going through basic training, and then there's this little narrative with trying to catch the dope dealer, and there's something very, it just feels not like an Encyclopedia Britannica film. Although William Deneen, the guy who made it, he made many Encyclopedia Britannica films and many films on his own. But there's something I can't put my finger on it. Maybe in the comments you guys can figure out why it felt so weird. All right, so let's see what we got here. Like I said, 2 days ago, we showed a film featuring crocheted puppets who were caught in a fire, and the film file just ended. I'm like, what happened? So let's find out what happened. Here's Fire, the missing ending. Enjoy.
Good. I'm going to read my book. Okay. I'm going to play. Okay. Hey, I smell smoke. Oh, yeah, we played that already. No, but I really smell smoke. I really do. Well, if you really, maybe there's a real fire. Fire? Oh, my gosh! What am I going to do if there's a real fire? Well, we do what you said. First, we got to look to see where it's coming from. Hey, it's over here. I'm going to go over. Don't open it. Okay. I'm just going to touch it. Right. Yikes! It's hot! It's hot! Then don't open it. We'll find another way out. Right. Out this way? We'll have to go out the kitchen door. Okay. No, wait. Remember that there's going to be cool air down here. So come on down. We're going to crawl out. Oh, that's right. Hey, wait a minute. I left my truck over there. No. Don't go back for anything. That's what you said. Come on, get down, and we'll crawl out as fast as we can. Come on. Okay. Hey, now we're out. What are we supposed to do now? I forget. Remember what you said. we have to go find someone and tell them to call the fire department. Oh, that's right. And we tell them our name and where we live, and that there's a fire down there. Right. Boy, am I glad you learned that in school. And am I glad you remembered. Come on, let's go. That's what I should do if a fire starts? Right. You leave. Yeah, but what about the toys? They may burn, but you must get out. Can you remember? Sure. I remember.
Do you feel better now? Do we feel completed now that we found out what happened to those puppets? So I have other films in that series. I have Smoke, and I might have another one. I need to look and see. But yeah, the puppetry is not great. All right, so yesterday we showed Color of Danger, which was a Caterpillar, and then I can't remember the name of the manufacturer. I guess it was a it was a kind of partner company, or it was a part of Caterpillar, but it was a company that made forklifts, and so this was a forklift safety film, which was great. It had lots of great accidents, and just as a forklift fell in the water, it cut off. So here is Color of Danger, the ending. Enjoy.
So, cool it before you start to drive. Another way to cool it, but not particularly recommended. You're working inside a warehouse on a dry surface. There's plenty of traction for turning and braking. But suppose you forget for a moment the possibility that the dock outside may be wet and slippery. On the way out, you pick up too much speed. So when you hit the brakes, where traction may be a problem, reduce your speed, or make sure you can swim. Of course, an operator doesn't have all the responsibility for safety. Those working around forklift trucks should watch out for the rear end swing, especially in close quarters. They should make certain the operator knows they're there. Otherwise, the color of danger may be all too apparent. Some large lumber dealers handle millions of board feet each year. To move that much lumber efficiently requires a lot of material handling equipment. But unless it's used safely, there's not much efficiency. Example, a heavy load carried too high for stability, partially obstructed vision, add too much speed, a sharp turn, a sudden stop, and the result is downtime. In this case, no casualties. Another time, who knows? The point about the color of danger is anyone can see it after an accident. The trick is to recognize it before. Loading a stack of drums 3 pallets high is asking for trouble, but that's only the start. Since the operator doesn't see the color of danger, let's put it in for him. Some red on the barrels because 3 pallets high, they make an unstable load. Some red on the ramp, always a danger spot. And some red on his head because it isn't working. He should have learned long ago that the only way to get down an incline with a load is to back down. But it's too late now. A careless operator, an unstable load, a sudden stop, an explosive mixture. They say accidents will happen. And they're right, they will happen. As long as the man at the controls doesn't look for trouble ahead, doesn't know and follow the rules. They will happen to the man who misuses his machine, forgets its capabilities and limits. Accidents will happen to the man who doesn't think, who doesn't keep on the alert, who doesn't watch for the color of danger.
It doesn't have a Shake Hands with Danger song. It's a pretty good safety film. And like I said yesterday, I've got a lot of forklift safety films, including a silent one, because I guess when they first introduced them, they realized these are super useful, but man, everybody's getting maimed and killed, and it's crazy. So, there we go. Let's see. So behind me, I have a scanner, and we have a film set up on it, and pedestrian safety is something that was important, especially teaching to kids. But sometimes I wonder, with this film, the person who's explaining it to kids, it just seems like it's lost. This film, I did a show called Popeye versus Pooh, where I showed cartoons of Popeye, the really good Fleischer Brother ones. Then I showed the same with Disney Winnie the Pooh cartoons. But then I showed safety films that they did for both of them, and they were horrible. They were both really bad. So, I know I'm upselling it. So anyways, here is Look Where You're Going by the guy with who likes to fight and curse, and you can barely understand him. Here's Popeye. Enjoy.
Oh, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Beep, beep. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Brum, brum. I'm very discreet what I does with me feet. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Beep, beep. Brum, brum, brum. Whoops. That's the words. Looks where you are going. Mateys, I has been asked to weigh anchor a while by some friends of mine. They're friends of yours, too. They says for me to speak some wisdom about the subject of looking. Now, being a sailor, I has a sharp eye. Two of them likes you. First, I likes you to comes with me to the scene of the action, the roads of America, to meet some of our mutual mates, me friendly helpers, before I sounds off with the words of wisdom. Officer Ed, in the blue suit and the blue hat with the friendly grin. Next, in the blue suit and the blue hat, Officer Bob. Poised with a notebook ready for writing. Just another of me millions of fans. What a beautiful face. Oh, what a handsome guy. And the third of our tremendous trio, Officer Harold. You'll be seeing him from time to time, giving me a helping hand. It's me pleasures, me hearties, to speak of the foots. That's each one of them things at the ends of your legs. This is the 1 foot, and this is the other 1 foot. Foots, known in scholastics, that's brainy circles, as the feet. Feet can be used for itching and scratching. For tickling and laughing. And many other things. But mostly they're used for walking. With the proper foot coverings, of course. These feet was made for walking. And when the feet starts walking, that's when you becomes a pedestrian. But where's you going? This is where the head comes in. Your head's the steering wheel of the feet. And you avoid other pedestrians by using your eyes. Now, you and me, the citizens that is, are pedestrianizing on the sidewalk. The automobiles are in the road. That's because they're heavy and fast and can't stop as quick as we can. So we're all happy pedestrianizing. But sooner or later, a problem. Unless you're gonna go walking around the block forever, you has to crosses the road. So first, you finds yourself a corner. Always begins the operation of crossing the road at the corner of the block. That's where you finds the signs to help you crosses the road safely. And there's the stop sign, which means to halt. The season of pedestrianizing. Stop signs are for the whole world. Everybody stops at a stop sign. Automobiles, the trucks mixed with the season of the wheels turning, the bicycles, all comes to a stop at the stop sign. And that goes for you, too. The citizen-type people. Now, when you has found the corner, and if there's a stop sign, you looks left, and you looks right. And when all's clear, that is when the road's good and empty, you crosses. No running, no fooling around. Quietly and quickly, you crosses. Crossing the road's very serious business because you're pedestrianizing in the automobile's territory. And now, a triangular-shaped piece of wisdom. This time I gives you a Y, and an I, and an E, and an L, and a D. Yield! And where does you think you're gonna find this type sign, huh? Standing on the corner, same as the stop sign, on the corner of the block. This yield sign means you stops your feet at the corner, but the automobiles only slows down. Nothing stops, so you has to make with the eyes extra special. You stop, you wait, you goes. You stop, you wait, you goes. In sun and rain and snows, whichever way you looks at 'em, you stops, you waits, you goes. You stops, you waits, you goes. That was me serenade to a traffic light. First things first, you approaches the traffic light on the corner of the block, and you stops. If the red shows, you waits quietly until the green says you can goes. Sometimes there ain't a friendly blue to seize to your safety. Remembers me ditty. You stops, you waits, you goes. Now, them signs we discussed, the stop, the yield, and the traffic lights, are for everything and body. People type things, automobile type things and wheel type things. So, it's about time I introduced here to me trusty steed. Hey, Wilbur. Me trusty steed in times of need, Wilbur. Your bike can be a real friend if you just follows me words of wisdom. Here's one of our mates with the guiding finger, Officer Bob. Points away, me hearty. Make sure the lights are shining bright. The chain guard ain't wobbling. The horn of the bell works. The tires. Brakes has to brake and grips the wheel. Make certain the handlebar grips don't slips. The saddle stays firm and comfy, and the carrier's on the back of the bike. And last but not least, has the red reflector on the back. Thank you for your help, Officer Bob. Now that everything's checked out, you can goes riding. Follows the rules of the road just like automobiles and pedestrians, and you can't go wrong. Scupper me rowboats. Where's you gone, mateys? Where are you at? This is a job for me dear old spinach. Can you think what'd happen to little old me if I was to pedestrianize me feet across here? In the middle of the muck? That's where the most people gets hoited. Don't do it. Cross at the corner. Now, what happens if you crosses in the middle of the block? Well, Officer Bob and Officer Ed and Officer Harold will give you and some other citizen-type people an idea. This demonstration's taking place in the street with lots of young citizen-type people watching with their eyes. Officer Bob is pouring into their eager ears the facts of the situation. Officer Bob's telling them that a police car's gonna drive slowly down the road. And he's looking them over, 'cause he's gonna ask one of them to help him in the demonstration. And that's the lucky one, the girl in the red dress, which makes it easy for Officer Harold driving the car to see her. Officer Bob asks Officer Harold if he can see the girl. Can you see the girl in the red dress? Nope, not a chance. All the parked cars are in the way, and she's too small. Officer Bob says to drive closer. Still can't see her. Now Officer Ed and the girl pedestrianize across. Officer Harold sees the girl and brakes. Because he was been very slow, Officer Harold stopped in time. And Officer Ed makes a circle around where the girl is standing. From there to the car is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 paces. About 43 feet. but the car was going very slow. What if it was going at, say, 30 miles an hour? We'll sees, but first, nobody gets hurted, so Little Red Dress goes back to the sidewalk. Instead of Little Red Dress, Officer Ed puts a doll just where she stopped as the car stopped. This time, the car's gonna goes at 40 miles an hour. When it gets to the chalk mark where it stopped before, it's gonna tries and stops again before it reaches the doll. At 30 miles an hour, the police car didn't has room to stops. If that had a been the Little Red Dress girl running out from between the cars, that might have been the result. Don't cross in the middle of the block. The corner is much happier and much safetier. And at the corner of the block, there's signs to help you. Do you remember them? There's the merry triangular shape of wisdom. The yield sign. You stops, you waits, you goes. The diamond-shaped sign. The school sign. You stops, you waits, you goes. And the many-sided shape of wisdom, whichever way you looks at 'em, you stops, you waits, you goes. So if we're gonna stay as mates, cross at the corner. Keeps the eyes peeled for the signs. Well, I hopes me words of wisdom will be of some help. Thanks for peering at me words and listening to me picture. And if you ever has a question or needs a bit of help, remembers our mutual mates, the Friendly Blues. They're out in the streets waiting to help. They'll help you cross the street in the famous friendly manner. Oh, how friendly can you get, oh? They want you to stop being hoided. Even if sometimes they don't look like it. They're our mutual mates. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I does what I can to stop you from hoitin', so you helps yourself by making for certain you knows.
Couldn't take it. Wow. What gives me joy here is the fact that this was probably shown in the 80s to a bunch of kids who maybe had no idea who Popeye was. And so if you don't know who Popeye is, this is just baffling. It really is really strange. Like, who is this character who's like only got one eye, whose jaw is jutted out and smokes a pipe and has like horrible grammar and pronunciation. Like, I really dig that. The idea that, man, I like Popeye. I would say I like certainly the Fleischer Brothers and a little bit of the Paramount. It kind of got really crappy in the probably mid to late 60s. And then like all these other attempts to do it, I think even like Hanna-Barbera did it at one point. It was really just not good. But that early Fleischer Brothers, where you can just barely understand what he's saying, and he's muttering everything, and he's just mad. It's so good, and I have a couple of those cartoons, but Popeye. Yeah, so let's see. I think I'm going to call it because I don't have anything else set up. But if you are in the Triangle area, tonight I'm going to be hosting Men in Black at the Museum of Natural Sciences, and we'll have an expert who will answer questions, I believe, about astrophysics, but there's also stuff you can show up beforehand. There's little vendor booths with exhibits and activities to do. So the movie starts at 7, but I think everything kind of gets started around 5:30 or so. And it is a paid event. You pay tickets. I mean, you can go hang out in the lobby for free, but if you want to get tickets, you have to see the movie. You have to pay because it costs money to show that movie. And I will be there, and I might be dressed up. We'll see what happens with the weather and everything. But thanks for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for your comments and your contributions. You can donate to us if you're interested with the super thanks button in somebody just asked, Men in Black and 16mm. No, this is probably from a Blu-ray. They don't really have the ability to, I mean, I've brought a projector there, but yeah, mostly they don't want to see what I have to show. I will probably try to show a short film beforehand. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Super thanks button, you can donate cash. You can hit the thumbs up button, the like button. Those are easy ways to help support us. You can also go to ko-fi.com/abgeeks and donate there. Buy some coffee. Or patreon.com/abgeeks. That's kind of like a subscription tip jar. And that allows us to buy things like microphones. Like web podcasting microphones. Let's see. You can also, if you have a short attention span, go to tiktok.com/av.geeks and follow us there, because that I have somebody who's going through picking little short clips that are jibing with the TikTok attention span. But otherwise, join us on Monday, because that's what we like to do, is show you films, and we have so many more films to show you. And I appreciate so we're getting close to 900 shows, and I gotta say, I'm not exhausted. I am invigorated to show you guys new stuff, because it allows me to see new stuff, or stuff that I've only seen briefly and I really want to share. And so I very much appreciate you guys tuning in, some of you every day. It means a lot. Hopefully I will see all of you at different points and times as I travel around. Someone keeps talking about having an AV Geeks Con. I don't know if I have the bandwidth for that. That might be a little too much, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you soon. Everybody take care. Bye. Where am I? I'm trying to click away. There we go.